Hello my friends, this is Sylvie Curry and I'm in my kitchen. Today I'm going to be making orange marmalade. Yes, tree full of oranges. After you juice them, give them away, what else do? You make jams, jellies, and marmalade. I'm going to be doing this the so-called old-fashioned way. And when you see me go through and do this, you'll say, wow, she's leaving so much of the pith and things like that on those oranges. Well, do you think that back in the day, people had time to sit there and carve off all of that pith and stuff? Nope. They did it what I call the old-fashioned way. Now, don't be sending me comments about how that's never going to get sweet, it's going to be bitter, it's going to be this and that. Not happening. Nope, not happening. It's going to be A1 orange marmalade. Let's do this. As you can see, I've already done quite a few oranges, cutting them and slicing them. I'm going to show you my technique for doing that. Take our oranges, and I'm going to first have to cut off the ends. And I'll slice through, and I want to get rid of this part. So I go through and I just do sort of like a slanted slice in there. Get that one out. This removes a lot of the seeds also, but you still have to be careful because there's still more seeds in there. And so I'll get those when I go through and I do my slicing. There's a little seed there. So I go through and just slice. Little sections. Get rid of those seeds. Nothing worse than having seeds in your marmalade. And see, these oranges are actually quite, as far as having a thin layer of that pith over there, so it's not much to worry about anyway. Even if it were thick, I would still make it the same way. And we'll go through and do this next section. Cutting out the seeds. Slicing it up. This is a basic recipe. The only thing that's going to go in it are the oranges, water. I have a lemon that I'm going to put in there, and sugar. Lots of sugar. Let me do this lemon. And the lemon's going to be done basically the same way. Cutting off the sides. I'm going to go through and take out all those seeds. There's one hiding in there. Get rid of it. Oop. Little pop of that lemon there. Some of the seeds are very small, and we still need to take care to get rid of them. When we come back, we'll cook up this marmalade and get to the syrupy stage. That was just a piece of that lemon that just looked more pithy than the others. I finished slicing up all of my oranges. I think I mentioned before that I was going to leave the pith in there, but I did take out most of it. I did leave the rind on. These oranges have a very thin rind, so I thought maybe it wouldn't be a problem. I'm adding my oranges and 1 lemon to a enamel and cast iron pot. This is my large one. Now this is pretty full, so I'm hoping by the time I add the water and the sugar I'm not going to go over. I'll just have to watch for all the popping of the syrupy mixture later on. To this pot I'm going to add some water, and the amount of water that you add is going to be dependent upon how many oranges you have, orange slices. You want to get the water level, doesn't have to cover, but you want it to get it pretty close to the top of the oranges. And that was approximately 6 cups of water. I'm going to turn the heat on. This is medium high to get it going. And I'm going to first boil it in the water, and that's to help get the oranges a little bit more soft. One of the things I mentioned earlier was that there were only 3 ingredients: oranges, water, and the sugar. I decided to add 1 more ingredient, and that's going to be a star of anise. And that's going to add, hopefully, it's licoricey flavor of the star anise, but it's not going to be enough to overpower the marmalade taste. How long is this process going to take? I have no clue. It's all going to be dependent upon, after I add the sugar, the star anise, and all those ingredients, it's going to be dependent upon how long it takes for the mixture to get to a temperature where it will gel. And that's going to be somewhere 215, 220 degrees of the mixture. I've heard it described that all this involved in cooking a marmalade, be it orange, lime, any of those, is that you just boil the heck out of it. Or cook the heck out of it until it gets to that jelly stage where it was set. The other thing that's important for this mixture is that I get enough sugar in it, because I do have some of that white part of the rind in there. My oranges have been boiling. It's a slow boil in just the water, and that's been about 20 minutes. I'm going to now put in my star anise and telling myself, reminder, reminder, take that out before you can it. And then I'm also going to start by adding sugar. And I can't tell you how much sugar is going to go into this, because it's going to be totally dependent on taste. But we're going to start off with 1, 2, 3, that's about 4 cups of sugar. And I know it's going to need more. I'm just going to go from that for the time being. I'm going to turn the fire down a little bit, not a lot. And just cook the heck out of these oranges. This is 1 hour into the cooking of the orange marmalade. It's slowly reducing. Got a long ways to go though. We are now at the 1.5 hour mark, and it's reducing. The orange slices haven't broken down yet. And I'm going to do a taste test to see how sweet my liquid is. And I know it's going to get sweeter the more it reduces, but I just want to get an idea where I am. Do I need to put some more sugar in this? So I know this is very hot. I'm blowing on it. Well, it's pretty sweet. I'm still going to wait off before I put some more sugar in it. I know it's going to need it because I have a little bit of bitterness in there. Still, I need to get rid of that. I cannot taste the star anise at all, so I'm going to leave it in. We are at 2 hours, and it's getting thicker, much thicker. I put a temp probe in here. Careful not to let it get all the way to the bottom because I just want to get the temperature of the orange marmalade. It's registering at 208 to 209. You see my orange peels are starting to break down. The pulp is already broken down. The meaty section of the orange, that's broken down. And I think that's what contributed a lot also to the thickness. And since we're not even at 215 yet, I don't think we have a gel consistency. So we'll let it go a little longer. Well, we finally got there. We're finally at gel. And we're pretty thick. I'm going to pull it, put it in the jars, so we can put it in our water bath. I'm going to set that up for you, and I'll be right back. I have my sanitized jars, and all the equipment here has also been sanitized. I'm going to take our orange marmalade and transfer it to these jars. I've got cotton gloves on, which makes it where I'm able to handle these very, very hot jars once I put this marmalade in it. Looking good. And I actually know that it tastes good because I tasted it. Looks like I'm going to have enough to do 2, 4, 5, maybe 5.5 jars. I need to wipe off the tops of my jars to make sure that there's no sugary stuff on there, because the lids won't seal correctly if I have. Then I'm going to take my little contraption here and make sure that there's no air bubbles in there. Go through each one of the jars to do that. The significance of that is that if there are air bubbles in there, there's a probability that you can get bacterial growth. Now I have my lids, which I did sanitize. My bands, which were also sanitized. The bands serve to keep the lids in place. Then I'm going to take my jars and put them in the water bath. The water is boiling currently. I've got all the jars in the bag, and I put the top back on. I'm gonna set the timer, 15 minutes. Since it is currently boiling, and we'll be back. My timer just went off, indicating to me that we've reached our 15 minutes in the water bath. I'm gonna turn the stove off and pull out each one of my jars. Hear that? With that extra that I had, I did have some smaller jars, so I pulled one of those and quickly sanitized it and put that in the water also. There we have it. Orange marmalade. We'll let those sit there and cool. And we're done.